Hey, what's up, everybody? So, today I want to talk to you about generational wealth and why I rent everything. So, I've been seeing a lot of stuff going on the internet, different memes. And, growing up, we used to always hear, put your money in a house, which isn't necessarily bad advice. Put your money in a house, buy an asset, buy something that's going to last. Don't buy a car, lease a car. Don't put your money in assets that are going to depreciate. Put them in things that are going to continue to increase. Save money so you can pass some money down to your kids. All stuff like that. And build equity. You don't want to pay somebody else for the rest of your life. We've all heard these things. And if you're like me, or if you someone who's looking to get back your time, that may not be the best option, because to be totally honest with you, that takes a lot of work. There are things that come up within the house, and there's a whole industry that kind of pushes us to buy houses. That's one of the things we're told to secure our future. And coming from the black community, that's something that's promoted because at a point in time in history, we didn't have access to housing based on different laws. So there are different programs the government sets up to help, not just the black community, but anyone to get a house. So there's a lot of things promoting it. But, if you're like me, an entrepreneur, someone who's looking to, capture time, buying may not be the best option. I tend to rent everything. So I rent my apartment. I don't own a car or lease a car. I use Lyft. I've been using Lyft or Uber consistently for like the past 6 or so years. What else? What else are things I don't buy? I rent my apartment, and even leasing a car takes work, because you got to take that car back to the shop eventually to get it fixed. So even that, there is some work. But one of my clients was talking about this subject, and he was spending time in his house. He's like, yeah, I want to work on this in my house. I want to do this repair. I want to do that repair. And so I asked him, like, you're spending the time doing these repairs, maybe a couple hours during the week, and then on the weekends you're doing a couple hours as well. What if you could spend that money or that time doing something else that you enjoy more, like spending time with family or working on your business? And so my time, or I at least know my wealth, is going to be generated in my time, not necessarily within putting my money in a house or that type of asset. We all rent things in our lives that we're not good at. Cleaners, whether someone coming to, or us dropping our clothes off at the dry cleaners, or getting a service as like a tune-up or something. Those are all things that we outsource. But I think as a business owner or someone's looking to get more of the time, you have to kind of take that up to the next level and look at, okay, what are the other things in my life that I can kind of outsource or have someone else do? One of the things that we do in my house is we have someone come in and clean and wash the dishes, because for one, that's not something that I think my time is most valuable being used, and two, it just cuts down on a lot of arguments about who's going to be responsible for doing X, Y, Z. Because honestly, I don't know if anybody really wants to do the dishes. If you probably don't either. So those are some of the things that in my life that I use, or that I rent, quote unquote, because it saves me a lot of time. I can put all that time back into the things that are my main thing, which is catching up with my friends and family and my wife, and focusing on working with my clients. And like, still talking about driving and Lyft, like that's the biggest time sucker of all. Like if you have to drive to work, 1 hour. So some people, I mean, my mom used to have to drive. She maybe still has to drive to work, an hour, hour and a half back and forth, and that's one way. So, that's 2-3 hours a day just driving on the road. And unless you're using that time to like listen to books on tape, you're not using that time, to your advantage, when you could really be doing something else with it. You've probably been in that situation a lot. So how do you focus, or how do you get your time, and why you should focus on one thing and not multiple streams of income? And I think the whole housing and generational wealth, that comes from the thought that, hey, I need to build these multiple streams. I need to be set. If I put a seed here, a seed here, a seed here, a seed here, one of these seeds has to sprout. And, honestly, I think that approach doesn't work if you're just starting out, or if you're just looking to focus on what's important in your life. You can't pick 5 things and focus on all of them. talked about that in other videos. Same thing comes with trying to pick up different streams of income. You can't do real estate and have another side business. You're doing a mastermind and you got a partnership where you're working on some apps. You have your energy focused in three places, and as we know, when you focus, that's when you make real progress. So not bashing the whole generational wealth, but I think there's just a little bit of misunderstanding about how to actually build that generational wealth, because you gotta have wealth before you can build generational wealth. So I think if more people focus on the now and what they can do to build their wealth, as opposed to what they need to do in the future for themselves, for Big Mama, for the kids that are 30 years away, why are you focused on buying your kids a house 30 years from now? They may not even want to move into the house that you have, according for them, So, and today has never been easier to get started on whatever goal that you're trying to do, whether you want to lose weight or you want to start your own business. There are tools, there are resources online that can help you do all of this, but the biggest thing is you got to focus. And the truth is, most millionaires don't inherit their wealth. Only about 20% of the millionaires actually inherit it. Once again, the 80-20 rule shows its head, but that other 80%, they're out there working it and they're making it on their own. So, what I do is, or what I would recommend is to pay yourself or to pay your rent, do things that are going to lead to do things that are in your best interest, as opposed to what everyone else is telling you to do. So if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're someone looking to focus on your goals, you want to maximize your time and really think about what's important. And, most of the time, things like cleaning the house, cleaning the gutters, making sure the bed is made, those aren't necessarily the most important things on your list of things to do. When I do my research, one thing I don't see the people who actually have wealth in financial gurus talking about is actually building generational wealth. And that's because they know that before you can build generational wealth, you got to build wealth in the current state. So people who are thinking about what they're going to do in the future for their kids, or passing their house down to family 30 years away, they got the wrong attitude. And the people who are more likely to pass down houses are also more likely to be wealthy in the first place. So that's always the first step. And as Diddy said, first comes the money. So focus on what's important for you today, not necessarily what society says you need to focus on, which is not going to be something for another 30 years. You got to focus on what's important for you today, whether that's your time, your family, your friends, or your entrepreneurship. Just making sure that that's priority and not getting caught up in doing what society tells you that you need to do. So I think that's it. That wraps it up for today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit me in the comments if you have any questions.